Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about the digital asset space, and let's get right into it today. One take and uncut. So we're going to be speaking about NIAM today. We're going to be speaking about Instagram, another RippleNet partner, opening up additional corridors, exploding and slowly growing that liquidity in various new markets, of course, beyond just the low-hanging fruit, the populations that are unbanked as well, and specifically talking a little bit about Miguel Valles and that speculation as well. And again, we want to talk about kind of the CAGR, the compound annual growth rate of remittance. As we know, the World Bank, even in 2018, said that remittances reached a record high, and that cross-border payments, remittances are going to be continuously growing as we are going towards the Internet of Value. Internet of Information and Data seems pretty good, highly efficient already. Of course, there's going to be improvements, but what really is the issue today in the economy with the global crisis of liquidity and movement of value and money is, of course, we'll be tokenizing these assets, but we want to ensure interoperability between all things. All right, so again, remittances actually represented one of the largest sources of income for people in low-income and developing nations. So this is a real use case, and it's my belief that this is one of the stepping stones that Ripple's tackling, whereas it's low value, high volume payments, and then R3 for the big boys in trade finance and true enterprise grade services of trade finance and international payments is going to be high value, high volume. And yes, I do believe that this will run or be integrated to some degree and run over the XRP ledger. And of course, we explain the reasons why we believe, it has high probability for that. But anyways, I'm going to kind of give you a high-level overview of this. So this group, I believe you pronounce it NIAM. They are working, of course, their platform. They work with Instagram, a RippleNet partner. And let me just go high-level initially, and then I'll kind of tie it in and show you how it's all related. So this was actually shared by Michael, Val5Links. Thank you, sir. So as we can see here by AMB Crypto, RippleNet member NIAM expands into China with the latest partnership. So we know RippleNet member and fintech platform NIAM is in the news today after it announced a partnership with a payment technology company, GeoSwift. According to the press release, we can see this deal would essentially connect China to the rest of the world, meaning this would potentially enable NIAM customers leveraging RippleNet to remit money into China. Again, kind of remit cross-border payments. Additionally, real-time services applicable to 14 banks in China, including the following. We can see in Shanghai, Bank of China, etc. Remember that soft rollout for the Chinese digital currency, the DCEP, again, digital currency, electronic payments. That was a soft rollout. And I'd imagine if we ever do go cashless at some point in the future, or even, the next few decades, which seems very likely, I'd imagine it would be a soft rollout and be tested by various countries before implementing something. But again, I think fiat is still going to be here to stay for the time being. But we're definitely going to see that due to efficiency, more control, etc. But all right, anyways, we can see right here, the press release further said that consumers, I almost said customers, and businesses can conduct fund transfers easily through Ripple partner Instagram. Again, kind of instant remittance. And this is NIAM's consumer and SME brand on its website or application. Welcoming the development, Raymond, as we can see here, CEO and founder of GeoSwift, said, "The partnership with NIAM is a natural extension of our strategy to become one of the leading providers of instant P2P payment solutions. In order to fulfill the ever-growing business and customer demands for instant money movement into China, we will continue to offer our clients fast, safe, and more convenient payment options with their business partners, friends, and family." And keep in mind, as we are developing this liquidity, the more traders, whether it's just speculative traders and market makers making this market, it'll add that liquidity for these groups and financial institutions to leverage that liquidity and then actually begin to provide their own. So everything is a stepping stone and building on top of itself, and it has that flywheel effect, essentially a small snowball rolling down the hill and gathering more momentum, weight, etc. So this is kind of the thing where I believe if Ripple's successful, continuously is launching more corridors, the low-hanging fruit, then eventually becomes more liquid. It might even make the G10 currencies in the main corridors that essentially are already really efficient compared to, the existing infrastructure. But then we'll realize that we can even improve those fees. And I think that's where R3. So we develop liquidity with Ripple and other companies building, even, Spring initiatives, micropayments, all fun and all good stuff. But I believe once we see R3, hopefully, using all of those is kind of stepping stones and really set the pace. So really quick about the China's remittance market, we can see in the APAC region, this is the Asian Pacific region, the digital remittance market registered almost 50 billion in 2018. And again, this region is expected to generate almost $270 billion in remittances by 2026. Significant growth. And remember, we are looking at this industry for cross-border payments, seeing that digital assets or crypto assets today solve that liquidity. And that is why the majority of my portfolio is in the cryptocurrency solving cross-border payments. The payment solution initially, of course, there's going to be great things with tokenizing assets, even with, Tezos or, Cardano or logistics or, decentralized oracles. I get it. But I think the most immediate use case, despite short-term price movements, because I know everybody gets suckered in and focused on, 20% up and, 10% down, or your crypto's been sideways for 6 months. Guys, we are in the very beginning of this market. These movements do not mean anything, whether it's manipulation, suppression, or simply just market movements. It doesn't matter. You have to look at the long term. All right. In the report talking about key players, we can see Instagram, of course, here, TransferWise, World Remit, of course, MoneyGram, etc. Remember, MoneyGram's only sending about 10% via the Mexican USD corridor. And they plan to go 20% with Ripple, and then again, continuously ramp things up. And this is going to allow another stepping stone to additionally increase, usage overall. All right, Ripple's tap, even talking about the XRP Australian dollar vaulted past 14 million. So again, the liquidity index is growing all the time. Okay. And this is actually right here for the Bitcoin markets themselves. So on-demand liquidity, I know a lot of people are focused on it. Yes, it's a good thing, but my eyes are on something much, much bigger. I'm not here for, all-time high XRP. I'm here for significantly more. And I do have those expectations. And that is not financial advice. Please do your own research. And again, continuously learn and see these connections. I am betting on the big money here and betting on these integrations and seeing a vested interest between groups like that, with SBI spearheading and pushing and being one of the biggest shareholders in both R3 and Ripple, okay? They want to complement each other, essentially. So again, cross-border remittances to more than 120 countries via RippleNet. We can see, of course, we've heard about Money Match. And again, SCB, Siam Commercial Bank, all of these partners. Again, we've had great news, and price will correct in due time when utility is over the ledger. Will we see speculative bull runs? Perhaps, but we've also seen a lot of bear markets in building during that time. All right, so right here, just to show you Niam's website, Unlocking Global Agility with the Open Money Network. Of course, we can kind of see everything, payment experience built for the future, go through the, UX and kind of take a look. And as we can see here, of course, their story, Instagram began in 2014. As we've already explained how they're related with them. Again, powering for enterprise clients. And then this platform specifically is Niam. All right. Next up, now I wanted to show you on Ripple Insights, just to connect it, how payments improved Instagram and BTEC's customer experience. Now this is 2018 and Swell. Yes, this is old news, but I want to give you an example and show you how it's paving the way for even this recent article that was just published on the 21st. All right, you have to see how the dots are connected and how it's there's a method to the madness occurring here. Right, to establish global dominance, whether it's on-demand liquidity or even some groups that could white label and utilize their own version and patented technology of the XRP ledger. It's not going to be another settlement token. We've already explained why. Not only the liquidity, but the actual open source, platform on a level playing field. And then, of course, it doesn't matter if it's a great digital asset or it has a great ledger. It still needs to utilize an interoperability protocol between networks. And of course, that is, interledger. People are only focusing on what Ripple's doing, but there's so many other groups that are now incentivized to use this. Remember, the XRP Accelerator program. Some of these groups could potentially buy and hold things of this nature. All right. Right here, so Swell 2018, we can see Instagram and BTEC worked on opposite sides of the globe. And again, they were both trying to address the same problems for their customers. So we can see London, co-founder and CEO of Instagram, saw global payments that just didn't work. They were too expensive and took too long. And again, the focus of building Instagram was twofold. It was to build infrastructure that allows institutions to tap into the networks to send low-cost payments. See where I'm getting this? Low-value payments for Ripple, focusing with ODL, or on-demand liquidity, ODL, to create a consumer remittance platform. Because typical consumers with remittance payments, guys, they're not sending, $50 million payments. They're sending $500 home to their family. They're sending $10,000 home here and there, things like that. All right, now people want transparency and low cost. Can you reduce the cost as much as possible? We can see in Brazil, BTech founder and CEO Fernando Pavani saw a market dominated by a few major banks. Again, and they struggled to compete with them, providing low cost, scalable solutions, sending tons of payments per second, continuously growing for cross-border specifically. Now, essentially what Ripple did and why they were so grateful for this use case, and you have to understand, Ripple's not going to be the solution for every group. What I'm saying is they can help reduce friction in cross-border payments for these groups specifically. There's a lot of fintechs and a lot of platforms that can benefit from RippleNet technology. And eventually, after they're using RippleNet software and kind of the original X series and messaging, and even that new RippleNet Home capability, which will be really exciting, they can onboard and eventually scale up to utilizing on-demand liquidity. But again, you have to find the right intermediaries, you have to have the right local exchanges, develop the liquidity. It is a process, so don't get me wrong. RippleNet connected, again, these groups through RippleNet, allowing them to establish new corridors from Brazil to Spain, Italy, Germany, France, and Portugal. The two talented and like-minded CEOs immediately saw the benefits of this new connection for both of their companies. So we've seen proof of concepts like this all the time. Asimo, we've talked about Siam Commercial Bank, you name it. All right. Next up, even World Bank recently call to action to get money into the hands of people now. We need to treat remittance service providers as essential workers and mitigate any operational impacts to their functioning. World Bank guys, Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, all working and have worked and spoken with Ripple, whether it's as a consultant role or whatever conspiracy you want to draw up. I'm just connecting the dots. Continue to do your own research, question everything. All right here, 321 XRP. So this is XRP _ HODL _. So Miguel Valles, guys, we know, employed to set the stage for large-scale institutional adoption. And again, nothing's confirmed yet. I have to check the news more. But now he appears that he's left Ripple. He's updated his LinkedIn page. And again, there's all kinds of huge groups doing this. So again, as we can see here, but Fidelity Digital Assets will be discussing institutional adoption of digital assets more and more. Remember Fidelity, they said stay away from Bitcoin, Ponzi schemes, etc. I'm not the biggest advocate of Bitcoin, but it's funny because while they were doing this, what was it, 2015, 2016, they were simultaneously buying up millions of dollars of Bitcoin. Like how things come to light later on, it's pretty comical. So again, CME Group executive Miguel Valles, and right here, as we can see, setting the stage for large-scale institutional adoption. So his new role was for head of XRP markets. As we can see, building liquidity for new financial products by working with not only market makers, traders, investors, and exchanges themselves. So again, you need a marketplace of buyers and sellers, high volume, various price points. Tighter spread makes everything cheaper. And it's going to be a level playing field. And essentially, this kind of global liquidity pool that's accessible to everyone. It is inclusive to all. All right? Now, what I want to do, this is complete speculation, okay? Remember, this is the tinfoil hat part. I just want to be able to talk, speculatively about a speculative asset without people getting so upset. So again, Miguel Valles, head of, in quotes, XRP markets, not Ripple markets, for XRP specifically. If he truly left Ripple, low value transfers, as I've already said, and Ripple's talking about success of these deeper order books now, as we can see, liquidity in global markets that just came out by Ripple, talking about the success of even groups outside of Ripple building liquidity for them. Where do you think he'd go to, next to develop this ecosystem? Because is his job really done? Because remember, he said once XRP is as liquid as a G10 currency, one of the top 10 most liquid used currencies in the world, foreign exchange market, you name it, he said he's going to have a cookie and get back to work. So it's not over yet. When you have high volume, high liquidity, and high value sent, it's game over. And this is why many people are bullish, and it seems like there's many NDAs and people just simply know something that we don't. And yes, I am speculating. I don't want this to be a hype video. I am clearly excited, but I encourage you guys to do your own research. All right, where do you think he'd go next in the next step? Potentially, I think there's many groups, but of course, R3, as I've explained in the videos yesterday, high value transfers. And then I just wanted to say what I believe Dilip Rao said, now retired from Ripple, cool your jets. Calm down, don't get too speculative. Just wanted to share that. All right, next up, I just wanted to touch on this before talking about what Argentina's doing with settlement using a cryptocurrency for interbank settlements. Now, Chris Larson, executive chairman of Ripple, this is shared by Real XRP Boy, so thank you for that. And this is when he was a little more engaged in answering questions. And as we can see, question for him, how would you defend XRP, which lives in a public and open network? And again, this is a permissionless protocol. XRP is the native digital asset. If banks came up with the idea of just creating banks-only digital assets. And he explains, one of the strongest features of XRP is that it's an independent digital asset, so it has the potential to be truly universal. The right digital asset won't be backed by fiat currency, so it will not create or pose a liability in trading. This is the part I want you to pay attention to. Every bank creating a settlement coin will be worse than what we've got now. It would probably add friction rather than reducing it. Keep in mind, permissioned banks, again, protocols, it requires trust. Please see the video I did either earlier this morning or yesterday addressing all of this. I think it's, really, really interesting, especially for newcomers that get worried about competitors. XRP is very different. Now, yes, I understand Ripple holds a significant portion of the supply. Some of it's in escrow. And, fudsters say it doesn't matter. But again, this is mathematically, a method to the madness of distributing fairly and creating this ecosystem. They want, Ripple, many other groups have said, we want the price to appreciate more than anybody because this would be great for us. So keep that in mind. This is not meant to be some stable coin. The founders think stablecoins are completely useless. There's no point. Again, dollars are already relatively digitized and have serial numbers to this point, so it's not going to be solving a problem. Higher price is more liquid. You can send higher value payments, and even there's going to be micro payments and streaming as well for batching. I just want to emphasize that XRP being an open sourced protocol. When I say XRP, I'm referring to the whole thing in totality, the digital asset and the ledger itself. So pardon me, I like to use things loosely, just like people call Ripple and XRP the same thing. But again, guys, they're doing something and making it as open as possible, similar to the Interledger protocol, the folks over at Interledger. All right, now, this was shared to me over here by El Crypto King, so thank you for this. So Argentina's central bank trials blockchain for new interbank settlement layer. So again, settlement between these central banks on the core ledger, showing kind of not only just debits and credits, but the actual core ledger of settlements with finality. But we see a lot of groups doing this, and guess what? People say, oh no, they're not going to be using XRP. Well, let's see how long that works, and let's take a look here. So the Central Bank of Argentina, BCRA, is testing a new blockchain-powered clearing system that could be used for some of the country's largest financial institutions. As we can see here, blockchain developer IOV Labs said Tuesday it had created a proof of concept, so they're only at the POC stage, for a permissioned blockchain network based on RSK Smart Contracts Network. Again, in conjunction with the central bank and major commercial banks in Argentina, including Santander and BBVA, RippleNet partners, as we know. Now, what we're seeing here is banks are doing exactly what the Ripple founders and many others have already predicted. They said, yep, we're going to go digital. We're going to see many banks, trying to create this permissioned blockchain, utilizing between their own networks, but there's still going to be, various silos and walled gardens, and they still need interoperability. So whether it's groups of, 5 banks or 50 banks, there's going to be another 5 or 50 banks that still need to interoperate, and they need an agnostic bridge asset on an open source protocol, because again, Bank of America is not going to want to trust JP Morgan's coin, and JP Morgan's coin is not going to want to use, Bank of America's coin. And especially on an international level, it just seems, the right way, of course, as we're becoming and going towards a more distributed marketplace. My bet is on the open protocols, just like the internet. And I'm going to be addressing some things that Chris Dixon has said, one of the leading crypto fund managers, again, for Andreessen Horowitz. One of his first investments was Ripple all the way back in 2013. I will be addressing that as well. So much information to you guys. I want to just keep putting in work daily when I have time to be able to share this with all of you. I'm not worried about short-term price. I don't care if we go to 10 cents. I don't care if we go to 50 cents for XRP. My eyes, are on the prize of true utility and massive adoption. For me, it's all or nothing. And, that's just my personal choice. Please, please, please always do what's right for you and do your own research. My mouth is getting dry. I've been ranting for far, far too long. So again, I appreciate it, guys. Shout out to Jamie XRP, Mikey, Crypto Beginner, Philip, and the newest member, Miles, for hopping aboard as top channel members. Appreciate all of you that hit that like button, share this video around, and I will see you in the next one.